A pair of senators have announced a bill to create a commission to examine the cyber attacks that occurred during the 2016 presidential elections. The Hill reported, a bipartisan pair of senators is moving to create a 9/11-style commission to examine the cyber attacks that took place during the 2016 presidential election campaign. Senators Kirsten Gillibrand, D-N.Y, and Lindsey Graham, R-S.C, announced legislation on Friday to establish the National Commission on Cybersecurity of U.S. election systems to study the election-related cyber attacks which the U.S. intelligence community has attributed to Russia and make recommendations on how to guard against such activity going forward. The commission would be modeled after the 9/11 Commission tasked with investigating the September 11, 2001, terrorist attacks against the United States. There have previously been calls from lawmakers, mostly Democrats, for a 9/11-style commission to examine Russia's interference campaign against the presidential election. Multiple congressional committees are currently investigating the matter, as Special Counsel Robert Mueller spearheads the federal probe, which includes looking into whether there was any coordination between President Trump's campaign and Moscow. According to the intelligence community, Russia directed cyber attacks against high-level Democratic officials and also targeted election-related systems in some U.S. states ahead of the election. In June, Department of Homeland Security, DHS, officials testified that election systems in as many as 21 states were targeted by Moscow, none of them involved in vote tallying. The commission called for by Gillibrand and Graham would document any harm or attempted harm related to U.S. election systems leading up to the 2016 vote, review foreign cyber interference in other countries, account for emerging threats and unmitigated vulnerabilities related to election systems, and identify steps to address cybersecurity vulnerabilities in election systems. The commission would be required to report on its findings to federal, state, and local governments. A panel would be comprised of experts selected by state election authorities and congressional leaders.